What's going on, awesome humans? Welcome back to another episode of the Thrive Forever Fit Show. And if it's not welcome back, if it's your first time, welcome. I am super excited to have you. And today you have joined into a fantastic episode. We're back with another update on Ashley's journey. For those of you guys that don't know, Ashley is one of my amazing clients that she made the declaration that she is going to lose 60 pounds in 6 months. We are 2 months into that journey. And today you're going to get an update on exactly where she is, her triumphs, her struggles, all the good stuff, all the crazy stuff, just everything about the journey. Then I hope that it will help you on your journey. If you know anything about this podcast, or maybe, like I said, maybe you don't, the whole mission is to do this. It's to disrupt the way you're currently thinking. I know that sounds crazy. What do you mean disrupt? I want you to think a little bit differently. I want you to think bigger and bolder and better. So I want to disrupt the way you're currently thinking. I want to inspire you to think differently. And then I want to give you the tools and the resources to help you transform into that new version of yourself. Pretty simple, pretty cool, right? So if you want to follow Ashley's journey on a step-by-step, day-by-day basis, make sure you get yourself over to the Wellness Lab Launchpad. It's my free Facebook group, Wellness Lab Launchpad. There's a link in the show notes, or you can just simply go to Facebook, type in Wellness Lab Launchpad, or go to thriveforeverfit.com. Right on the homepage, click the big orange button, and you are in, and you are jamming with us. It's the greatest, safest place on the internet. I promise you that. So guys, without further ado, let's get into the show. Let's hear where Ashley is at in her journey. 2 months in, I'm excited to chat with her. All right, we'll see you on the backside. Bye. Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. You just got home from the gym?
Just got home from the gym.
Awesome. Your exact words were, "I'm a hot mess." Is that what you said?
I did. This is all
Okay.
fake. Anyone watching on YouTube, this is fake. I'm still sweaty.
Good. Sweaty is good. Well, let's talk about it. So we're 2 months into our journey, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's just jump right in because everybody wants to know. So we are how many pounds down?
I'm staring down 25.
25 pounds down. Now, see, we had a hot month, right? We had that first 30 days. It was hot.
Yes.
Hot. God, was it hot.
It was
And
good.
then things cool off a little bit, which is totally normal, which we knew was going to happen. But let's talk about that because that can be unbelievably frustrating. I mean, you came out of the gate like 20 pounds down in 30 days. I mean, you were like, nothing could go wrong. Like
Yeah.
you were going to get this 60 pounds done in 3 months, put a bow on it. Everything was going to be perfect. What was it? I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like I knew it wasn't going to happen. You probably secretly knew it wasn't going to happen. But what was this month like with, less progress than you had achieved that first 30 days?
Yeah, it was different. You're right. The shine wore off a little bit, and I really had to dig into my rituals and habits, and it wasn't, in your words, it wasn't very sexy anymore. It wasn't super exciting, and that was good though. Like I needed that, and I had an aggressive goal, and I almost got there, but not quite.
That's okay.
So yeah, it was totally different. It really was.
I think this is a good place to kind of pause really quick because this happens to a lot of people. When we start things, they're fun and they're exciting and it's bright and shiny and it's like everybody's watching and it's like, oh my gosh, you got this girl, like so much like support and there's the bands are playing and everything. And then you come out of the gate and you have a lot of success. And then that starts to fade a little bit because it's just, that's how weight loss is. Like there's no possible way that you could lose 20 pounds a month consistently for any amount of time. That's just we'll call it just a fluke, if you will. But what happens when that happens to most people is they just stop because they lose the 20 pounds and then they convince themselves that it's not worth it. How have you maintained your level of this is still worth it, even though the progress has slowed down?
Yeah, so I turn towards a couple things. In my journaling, I'm pushing through spots I've never been before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's frustrating and encouraging. On the hardest days, I lean back to the fact that I'm doing this publicly and I signed up for it. So that is good motivation. But I think I'm actually seriously grateful that this month happened the way it did because I needed to really lean into my habits and stuff and know that it's just I have to stay the course. That's something I said to some of the people in the group, like, just stay the course. Like, there's nothing like I want to search for something to make it go faster or change something up because that's the old Ashley, So this diet or this thing isn't working. So I need to try this diet or this thing, So I had many days where I was like, okay, what can I do to make the boat go faster? What
Hmm.
can I do? Well, honestly, nothing. I just had to keep staying my actual course. And even yesterday, knowing I was very close to my 10-pound goal for this month, I had a hot moment where I'm like, I could stop eating early. I could hold back on water a little bit. I could do a longer Peloton ride in a sweatshirt and sweat. I was thinking that way, but I was like, no, that's old Ashley, that's something she would do. So I just stayed the course and came shy of my goal, and I'm okay with that. But it was just leaning into those habits.
I think so many beautiful things I want to unpack here. So the adage is this, like we always start to look for that thing, like what will make the boat go faster? And the answer is nothing. It's like you said, nothing. It's the consistency over time that's going to make the boat go as fast as it can possibly go. And what happens is, let's use a boat analogy, for example. Like if you're in a boat and you've got it completely floored, that uses more gasoline or more fuel than if you keep the speed consistent. It's like in a car, right? If you keep your cruise control on, you get better gas mileage than if you gun it and slow down and gun it and slow down and gun it and slow down. What happens when you do that is you eventually run out of gas. And for us on these journeys, we run out of gas when we start looking for those bright, shiny objects because they're not there. And then we get discouraged, and then we get discouraged, and then we get discouraged. And then finally we convince ourselves, well, this is bullshit. This is just not worth it. This is not for me. I love this. This doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
I mean, how many times have we said that in our
I've
lives,
said
right?
that for many diets, but I think one big epiphany I had this month is like my body's still trying to decide if it trusts me or not.
Totally.
You
Yeah,
know,
you've got a dysfunctional relationship.
so I think that that's part of like the slower weight loss is my body's like, what is she doing here? Is she going to start like starving me or switching to
Yeah.
all this or all that? So it's that process, that self-love process where I'm like, okay, actually, I'm still here, going to be consistent. But that was a big epiphany this month.
It's the brain and the body. Like we have these conversations with ourselves like you had yesterday. There's another human in there saying, well, no, what if you just did this? Or what if you starved yourself? Or what if we come up with all these crazy things. And so good for you for not giving into those old habits and those old ways. And I think that this is a growth. I always say when something like this happens, I look at it as an opportunity and not an obstacle. I'm glad. Like when you guys come to me, you're like, well, this happened. My answer is always good. Because if you can handle that, then that means you've just grown to a new level that when the next thing comes, you're not gonna give in, or you're not gonna succumb to the old habits that you used to. And I think it goes back to that instant gratification thing that we as humans just want so freaking bad. Like we want this now.
Right.
How are you battling that? Because I mean, you're a fierce competitor, and I mean that in all facets of your life. Like you really do desire to be the best. You want to be the best mom, and I know every mom says that, right? But you've got a burning desire. Like you take it personally.
Yeah.
You want to be the best real estate agent, and I know everybody says that, but like, I mean, you're willing to fight an agent if it comes down to that. You want to be the best in the gym, and I'm making jokes about that, but you really do. You have a burning. You're super competitive.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you managing that competitive nature? Because the competitive nature can be a great benefit, but can also be a massive detriment because we will start to, like you said, we'll start to look for those, we'll beat ourselves up. How are you handling that?
Yeah. I'm really reactive when it comes to my competitive side. Like this morning, I'm like, I was 0.5 pounds short of a goal, a declaration I made a month ago. That is bullcrap. I literally was like, do I chop my hair? Do I like try to go to the bathroom again? I was just so disappointed, but I allow myself to feel that because that's familiar and it's natural, especially for me having being competitive. But then I don't let it just stop there. Like I break it down more and try to appreciate the wins, even though to me it doesn't feel like a win. The more that I focus on it, the more that I see it's a win. And I've got some good like support people in my life that are feeding that into me, you and some other people that I've aligned myself with in this group. So I feel it and then I dig into it. So that's how I've handled the competitive side because it's not going to go away.
No.
And it benefits me on certain things, obviously. But with the weight loss, like it needs to be there. I like it there, but it also needs to like not have a very loud voice.
I agree. You know what I love? Like, the NFL, the playoffs have been going on, and I can't remember the guy's name, but after Buffalo lost their playoff game, like there was a picture that was on the internet. I saw it. Somebody, one of my buddies posted it, and it was one of the players, and he stood and he watched the celebration. He watched Kansas City celebrate, and he
Yeah.
stood by himself. There wasn't a big group around, and he watched that. I just got goosebumps when I said about that, because that's something that I would have done, because I want to feel that pain. Like I want to feel that suck, because I know that's going to motivate me to keep going. So I think if you can find the power in missing the goal, missing the thing you said you were going to do, because let's be honest, like if we're setting lofty enough goals, if we're really pushing the envelope, there's going to be some times when we come up a little bit short, and that is 1,000,000% okay. That's way more beneficial than setting these little easily attainable goals, because then you get so self-gratifying in those instant moments that you lose sight of what it's really like to have to push through obstacles and adversity. What have you been like uber focused on when these obstacles are kind of coming your way? Like you didn't get where you wanted to go. Like give me some strategies that you've been using to like overcome those voices.
This is gonna sound really boring and vanilla, but like I'm just focusing on staying the course. Like
Yeah.
I know what I need to do, you know, to feel better mentally, physically, all of that stuff. I know what I need to eat. So I'm just diving deeper. You know, if I feel like I'm having a roadblock, I journal more. If I feel like, you know, like a couple weeks ago, I just had like a blah week, and instead of just like working through it and you know just letting it happen, I like voiced it. I told people about it. You know, so for me, it's just digging deeper. Like when I feel like things are getting harder, instead of letting that energy burn towards the negative.
Yeah. I'm glad you said it's vanilla and it's boring, because let's be honest, like this process is not always going to be like I always say, like the band's not always going to be playing. Like sometimes it's going to be you, the darkness, and what are you going to do next? Like what's the next thing you're going to do? And there's nothing sexy or exciting about that. Like somebody's not always in the further you get into like these declarational like journeys, like the fans start to get bored and they're at the concession stand, like they're in the bathroom and you're still playing, like you're playing your ass off. And like, where'd you guys go? Like, what's going on? And so for most of us, that's challenging, because when we look up in the stands and we're like, well, where's mom and dad? Like, they're not even watching anymore. Like, I know you've got a beautiful support system. You're a part of the Thrive Forever Fit program, which is going to give you just unlimited support. But what would you say to someone who maybe didn't have that like group support like we did, didn't have a coach like me who's helping you and all those things? Like what's one tip you'd give somebody when they look up in the stands and nobody's there? Like how do you keep playing?
That's a good question. I've never thought of that because you're right. I have such great support, and I have gone through the diet journey very isolated, so that kind of bums me out. But
Did it work when you were isolated?
no, I
No.
didn't, because I think the most powerful tool for me this time was declaration. But I would say that those people need to find other people that are being successful. They need to
Exactly.
find that community, because I don't know that you can do this journey quietly. I
I
just don't
agree.
think you can. I mean, I think for me, just having those people, and the thing is I don't necessarily want to like depend on the cheers and stuff like that, because I know at some point this you and I mean, this is all going to be done, and I'm going to just have like me and myself to keep going and to depend on. So I think if you're asking me what I'd tell someone that didn't have this, I'd find it.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was the answer that I assumed you were going to give, and that's the answer that I would give someone if they said, "Well, what do I do if I don't have that support system?" Is like you've got to find it. I mean, and that's kind of like why we've created a lot of the systems and the tools that we have, is because we understand that it's the support and the accountability piece, and it's not always about. I don't want people to get confused when I say like people cheering for you. That fades as well. You know what I mean? Like just cheers and like yay, that goes away. Like you need a team that is going to support you, but also hold you accountable, and also that you feel accountable too. So I think there's a value that needs to be brought into that attention, is like you can't surround yourself with people who aren't doing as much as or more than you are, because they won't be able to hold you accountable, because they can't hold themselves accountable. And so there's a disconnect there. So the fact that you've got an amazing team. We've talked about struggles, so let's talk about some wins. Like, what's been the coolest thing that you've been feeling like on your journey? Like, how have you been celebrating your wins?
Um, I've been looking back a lot, pictures, clothes, that kind of stuff, because I think I finally turned the corner to where like things are fitting me smaller. And that happened maybe around the 18 to 20 pound mark. So that's where I'm finding a lot of wins. And I was telling my trainer this morning, I started a bin where I'm like cutting things that don't fit me anymore. And it's more painful than I thought because I like things that are good quality. So they're more expensive. So I'm like, there that goes, but that's been really exciting because to me that's so measurable and
Right.
it's not just the scale, which I get caught up in the scale. So that for sure, or things like we were sledding. We had massive snow here this week, like almost 15 inches, and we sledded 3 days, and it's just up and down this hill, up and down this hill. And yes, I love physical activity, but that's hard for anyone. And I was just thinking, sledding with a few of my kids on the sled with me, just like I'm smaller, I can handle this more. Like I just really am reaching for the wins. That's gotten me through this month is just looking for little wins. And I sent you, I think yesterday or today, like an old headshot that I had taken.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the moment I opened those proofs from the photographer, I was like, who is that girl? That
Right.
is not who I look like. I was mortified. And just looking back, like there's such a disconnection because I'm not that person anymore, but I'm not that person in my mind, but I'm not that person in my body. So that's a lot of the wins I've been reaching for this month. It's been kind of fun.
I love that. We talked about that a little bit today, is that looking back at those old photos can almost give you like an epiphanal moment because you're like, what the holy shit, what? Like
Right.
I mean, because you don't even really realize it until you look back and see some of the photos and you're like, I don't even know that Joker. That's not even me.
Well, and I think I have like reverse body dysmorphia. Like I think I've got it going on, like in a certain outfit or something like that. And then I see a picture and I'm like, certainly I don't look like that. So that's always been a fun little challenge. But no, it's been great. It's been great to fit into clothes. It's been great to say goodbye to clothes. And to me, that feels sometimes more exciting than the scale for sure.
You said something, you were like, when I have this bin of clothes and they're high quality clothes and like sometimes that's hard to part with. The only thing I would do if I was you is I would change that. I would change the language around that and say that your quality, you as a human, is way more important than the quality of any clothes, right? And all you're doing now by putting those quality clothes in that bin is you're elevating your own quality of life. And that's way more valuable and way more important than a pair of joggers or whatever it is that you're throwing in the bin. Now, let me ask you this: what is your plan to do with that bin once that bad boy gets full?
I'm not sure. Like I want to donate it definitely. I don't have the time to like sell it like on Facebook or anything, but
Yeah.
I want to donate it, but more so I'd rather run into someone that would really appreciate them.
As long as we're not keeping it, I don't give a shit what you do with it.
I know.
I could care. I
Cody
could
said,
care less what you do with it, as long as you didn't say I'm going to keep it. That was when we were going to have a problem. Okay, good.
as you've taught me, a plan B is gonna means you think A is gonna fail. So no, I'm gonna get rid of it. And honestly, I have stuff to move into. Like I wore new leggings to the gym today, and Cody notices like every detail all the time. So he's like, "I love those leggings. Are they new?" And I'm like, "They are not new. They are ones that I used to wear that I'm able to get into." So there's things like that that are super exciting. But no, I'll find someone that needs those sizes and
Good.
I'll pass it on.
Good, good. All right, let's talk about last thing. Let's talk about vision. Like, what are we seeing? Like, what's coming up? Like, I mean, we had I mean, I wouldn't even call this month a struggle. Like, I felt personally as your coach and guy who talks to you all the time, I felt like you did a fantastic job. I felt like things happened as they're supposed to happen, and we're right where we need to be. But you, from your perspective, like, what do you see this next 30 days looking like? What's the goal? What's our vision? Like, how are you forecasting that? Like, what are we going to do?
Um, there's a mental and physical side to that. Physically, I think I said last time I've been working on my hormones, and I
Mm-hmm.
can tell we're like really getting into it because I've got all these weird effects, and my blood work is kind of changing. And so for February, I'd love to put like a big dent in that. Like I'm very, very estrogen dominant, which is pretty dangerous to have, and so I'd love to put a dent in that. So that's a big February goal. Something interesting about not having to really think about my habits and my food and all that stuff is it's opened up lots of room mentally to like focus on some of my faults and things I need to work on. I was like, wow, that covered up and took so much of my mental space that now I've got all these things to work on. And as you know, vulnerability isn't my strong suit. So like I
Nope.
want to keep diving into that stuff.
Good.
Um, yeah, it'll be interesting, but those are physical, mental goals. Are we talking weight loss goals too?
Well,
Or
everything. I'm just these are your goals, man. What are you gonna do? Like, we got 30 days. What's gonna happen when we
okay,
show up here at the end of February, 1st of March? Like, what are we gonna be talking about?
okay, I don't want you to fire me or anything, but I kind of want to hit that 10. I
Okay,
feel like I've got
listen,
it in me.
I'm down with it, man. Like I want you to listen, I want you to get that. And I know here's where I know about you. And this is why I wouldn't encourage just anybody to do this. You're not gonna, we're so deep into this process, like you're connected to me and like everything, you're not gonna quit, right? So I don't have to worry about you getting discouraged. And so, but if I was talking to a client that wasn't this connected to me and they're like, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds this month, it's not necessarily that I would say like I wouldn't discourage it, but my concerns would be around their mental and mindset if they didn't hit that. Because what I don't like to see people do is set a goal, not get that goal, and then regress back to their old behaviors because they convince themselves they're not worth it. I'm not concerned with that with you at all. And so I love a big goal because you're the kind of like, you're the kind of person that if we set a little candy ass goal of like, hey, let's lose 4 pounds this
Yeah,
month, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like we can't, that's not good enough for you and it's not good enough for me.
right.
So I think every player is individually coached as far as I'm concerned. You can't coach every player the same. So I would coach you to say, yes, let's go kick that 10 pounds ass.
I had a big first month, and that's to be expected. I trudged through a non-sexy second month, and I think this third month, like my body's gonna be like, okay, Ash, we're in this. So
Yeah. You're
that's
building. I love what you said a while ago. It's like your body doesn't trust you yet. You're just building that relationship back. Like you're going to take it on a couple of dates. You might buy it some flowers. You might write it a little note every once in a while. I don't know what you're going to do. Right. But that's really, we're making a joke about it, but that's so true, guys. Like most of us have gone through life breaking so many promises and confusing the crap out of our body. Like we go on these crazy diets and then we go back to eating, pounds of pizza. And then we go on another crazy diet. And then we go back to, our body is like just, it's schizophrenic for lack of a better term. We don't even know what's going on. So you're healing that relationship. And as you heal that relationship, as with any relationship, the better the relationship gets, the better everything gets. And so I think that's a great idea. Any parting words before we get back to work?
um not really. I didn't want this podcast to be boring, but it really has just been a month of doing the next right thing. So
I don't think this was boring at all. I think this is uber valuable because it's the reality of this. It's the reality of the situation, and I think that's where a lot of people get lost. Is that they want it to be, and I hate the word perfect. They want it to be perfect all the time, and it's just guys, it's just not that way. It's like you didn't get to where you are. I don't care if you need to lose 500 pounds or 50 pounds. You didn't get there overnight. You didn't get there in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. And so the process in reverse is always going to be a little bit more muddy and a little bit more treacherous. And you're going to have to climb over some shit and go through some things. And so I think this is just what we've talked about in this week's show is the reality of commitment and consistency and how important that is. And if you'll dive into that relationship with yourself, then success is inevitable. It's just the fact that it's not going to come as fast as we wanted it to come. So we're going to delay gratification so that we can really win big in the end. And so I think this week's show was amazing. I'm going to be honest with you.
thank you.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, I'm proud of you. Let's just keep kicking ass, keep doing what we're doing. We'll be back again next month to update the progress, guys. Make sure you guys are over in the Wellness Lab Launchpad. You can connect with Ashley. You can see her journey, some videos that she does from working out and some food diary, just some stuff. Go over there. You'll love it. All right. We'll see you next week. Love you guys. Bye. Wow, right? I could not be more excited about Ashley's journey. I couldn't be more excited about your journey. I hope that you found yourself somewhere in that story. The instant gratification that we're all seeking, guys, that's not the answer. That's the thing that we've got to push off. We've got to delay that gratification so that we can experience the moment by moment triumphs and struggles that we're going to go through, because the end gratification, the end goal is so much sweeter and so much better than those momentary give-ins, those momentary, gosh, I want this so bad right now, and if I can't have it, then I just won't do it. We've got to get over that. That's one of the things that's failing us as a society right now. And I'd love to be one of the pivotal pieces in helping you transform out of that way of thinking. So, guys, I see you and I see your triumph. I see your success and I want it for you so freaking bad. So make sure you do this. Make sure you continue to listen to this show. Make sure you're over in the Wellness Lab Launchpad. It's where you can get access to me. You can ask questions. You can surround yourself with amazing, beautiful humans just like yourself that are trying to get better, that want to get better, that know there's a better way out there, that know there's a better way to live. They want to get healthy. They want to get wealthy. They want to get fit. They want to get fabulous. They want to do all those things. And I want to help you do that. I want to be a part of your journey. So cruise on over to the Wellness Lab Launchpad. If you're somebody who seeks some one-on-one professional coaching, I offer that as well. I've also got a paid membership program where it's daily access to me at a deep, deep, deep level. It's called the Thrive Forever Fit program. Guys, I've got anything you need. I've got everything you need. My mission, my purpose, my happiness is predicated on being able to help you live the life you deserve and desire. So get your butt over there. Let's have some success together, and I will see you in next week's show. All right. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.